Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our brothers. Strange things do happen in this world. So the message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I want to confess to you that I did some money-making rituals because I wanted to become rich as quickly as possible. So I was working as a teacher, and as I was working as a teacher, the problems that I came across was that our salaries, instead of increasing, they were actually decreasing. You know how things they are here in our country. So what I did was that I said, let me at least resign, let me retire. So after I had resigned, I then saw that I had made the worst mistake of my life, because the money that I got equivalent to rands, it was only 7,200 rands. That was my retirement package. After working for many years, I had worked for 23 years as a teacher, and I only got a retirement package of 7,200 rands. What was I going to do with that money? And worst of all, they refused to give me this money in cash. They told me that they were going to convert this money and they were going to put it in my bank account. And you know how banks they are in our country. Once you put your money in your bank, you're not going to get it back. They will tell you that your money has been losing its value when it is in your account. So I saw that there was no plan anymore. I then took a portion of that money that had been given to me. Then at least I got my passport. That was the only thing that I got from the money that was given to me. Since I had a passport, I then spoke with one of my cousin brother, but we do not share the same blood. So I spoke with him. This cousin brother of mine, he actually works at this other farm. So there are those farms that are along the South African Zimbabwean border. So he said that if you want to quickly find a job, you can come here, because the salaries that we are earning here, they are not quite a lot. So once you come here, I'm sure that my boss is going to hire you. So I ended up coming to South Africa, and when I came to South Africa, I started to work on that farm. But working on that farm, it was quite a very terrible idea, because the way that we were working, things were not okay. The way that we were being treated, it was not nice at all. So whilst I was working at this farm, the idea was that at least if I was going to raise maybe somewhere around 10,000 rands, then I was going to go to Messina and I was going to buy some clothes or groceries, especially like your Russians and your Viennas. Then I would come and sell them, at least in Beitbridge. Then later on, I'll start to buy some dragons. Then I would come and sell off those energy drinks here in Harare at a much higher price. This was the plan. But my brother, unfortunately, after I had saved a little bit of that money at that time, I had only managed to save somewhere around 4,000 rands. That was when we heard of this other disease, the disease that was spreading across the world like wildfire. So since we were working close to the Limpopo River, we knew the places where it was quite easy to cross, where the water was not a lot. So that is the piece jobs that we started to do, and at least we were making a lot of money until we met this other woman. So this woman, she was actually a traditional healer. During the COVID, she had traveled from Mozambique, but she came through Zim and she was on her way coming to South Africa. So after I had assisted her and her assistants, and after I had carried a heavy bag that was full of her charms, she then said, I can see that you have a good spirit, you have a good heart. I am going to remember you and I am going to assist you. And she mentioned this thing of me having the marine spirits, but I didn't even think about it, and I thought that maybe I was never going to see her again. I think about 3 months later, this woman came back and she said that she had found it to be very difficult for her to move, but now she was back and she wanted to assist me. So she ended up staying at that farm for 4 more days whilst she was assisting me. This woman then told me that in order for her to do the ceremony for me at the river, at the Limpopo River, so that I can communicate with my own marine spirits so that they can start to bless me, there was money that was needed. I asked her how much was needed, and she said, at least if you can find maybe 5,000 rands for me, then I am going to assist you. And I said, we have not been working and I do not know where I can find this money. But she said, I know that you have some money that you have been keeping in your house. And let me tell you that when you go to Messina to buy some of the stuff that you want to buy to start your small business, you are going to get robbed. So it is far much better that I assist you, because already she had seen everything that was going to happen in the future. So after she had told me the exact amount that I had in my room, I knew that this woman, she was a true traditional healer. And she then assisted me. She said, let us go to the river. So after she had brewed some traditional beer, we then went to the river. We did sort of like a small dinner party for the marine spirits, and she told me that I was now a blessed man. It was only a matter of time. These marine spirits, they were going to bless me eventually. So after this woman had crossed over into Zim, the very next day when I woke up, I then saw that in my room there was this very small coffin, a very small coffin, a wooden one, and on top of that small coffin there was a knife that was there. So I just took those items, since I was no longer in communication with this woman, because the phone numbers that she had given me, they were no longer working. And I said, so what am I going to do? So I just took those items and I went to this other prophet who was working at that farm where I was working, and I told him the things that I had done. I was honest enough with him, and he said that this traditional healer has robbed you. What this traditional healer had done to me was that she had created some Tokoloshes when she was still in South Africa, but these Tokoloshes, for them to become alive, there was blood that was needed. So those people that she had gone to see, those ones that he had hired her to come from Mozambique to South Africa, those people, when it came time for them to sacrifice, they were afraid, because they were supposed to either make their own daughter a crippled or to have her sacrificed so that her blood can be used to awaken the spirits of those Tokoloshes. So now what had happened was that she didn't know what to do with the spirits of these Tokoloshes that she had. And so by the time that she came back to the farm, those Tokoloshes kept on complaining to her and telling her that they were hungry. And when she looked at me, she then thought of taking advantage of me. The moment that I gave her all of that money that I gave to her, I was actually buying those unfinished Tokoloshes. And what started to happen from there on, even though the prophet tried to assist me, but I lost my brother. I lost 6 of my relatives during the time of COVID-19. All of my relatives, when they would be found dead, there will be blood that will be coming out of their nostrils. So far, I have lost 6 of my relatives, and I am still trying to go around so that I can get some assistance. But wherever I go to, I am always told that I need to be in contact again with this traditional healer, for she is the one who knows the charms that she used when she was creating these Tokoloshes. These traditional healers that I visit, they say that if we do not know how these Tokoloshes were created, then we cannot destroy them. At least we need to know how these Tokoloshes were created so that we can destroy them. And the problem is that these Tokoloshes, they are still very young. Even when you speak with them, they speak as if they are still little babies that are still learning to talk. All that they can say is tata, tata. That is all that they can say. So the traditional healers cannot assist me, for they cannot communicate with these Tokoloshes to ask them how exactly were they created. And now they want more blood. After losing 6 of my relatives, they still want me to sacrifice 1 each and every year amongst my relatives. And when I look at my life, I do not have anything. I am only left with 1 cow, because I have been going around, and each and every time that I go to a prophet or to a traditional healer, They told me that I have to pay them with a cow or with a goat. Now I am left with nothing. I regret ever going to South Africa, my brother. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our dear brother right there. Strange things do happen in this world. He was saying that these Tokoloshes, they are still very young. They cannot even talk. When these prophets or the traditional healer tries to assist him, when the healers ask these Tokoloshes about how they were created, all that they say is tata, tata, like a small baby. Strange things do happen in this world.